If something about your brand feels off or you feel like it just isn't working, you might feel like, I just don't know where to start. I don't know what I should be doing to actually make things work for me. Branding can get overwhelming, especially if you've been in business a while and you've sort of patchwork things together as you go. You've just built on things a bit here, a bit there. Sometimes what you need to do is go back to basics and figure out what's going wrong, what things aren't actually working for you, so you can improve those things, work on those areas, and really create a strong and compelling brand. So in today's video, I'm going to give you a bit of a checklist of things that you can have a look at. Is your brand actually doing these things? And if not, those are the areas that you need to start looking at and really working on so you can create that really strong brand. I'm Emma, and I'm a brand design educator and designer, and I help creatives go from vision to visuals to create compelling brands that attract, connect, and convert. And today we're going to look at a bit of a checklist of things. So if you feel like something about your brand isn't quite working, or you feel like something is a little bit off and you're just not sure where you need to start, you can go through this list of things and work out what it is that you need to be working on so that you can really strengthen your brand. So the first one on our list is, does your brand solve a problem? Because when it comes to any kind of business, you really need to be solving some sort of problem, providing some sort of solution to a problem. Now, if you're doing something like creating art, you might think, well, how is that really solving a problem? I'm just creating something beautiful. And that's why it's really important in an area that doesn't seem obvious that you're solving a problem to really dive deep and figure out what's going on and why it is that people would actually want to buy from you. Why does your brand matter? Why does it need to exist in the world? What is it doing to actually help people? So your brand might actually be solving a problem, but the fact that you're not aware of it means that you're not able to capitalize on that, to promote your brand in a way that really connects with people and makes them realize that you're actually able to help solve that problem for them. So in the example of artwork, where it might not be so obvious, well, what does artwork do for people? Why do they actually buy in the first place? So getting to know your own audience and the reasons why they are buying from you is then going to help you in your own brand messaging. So for example, with the art, if your audience are buying art because they really want to make their home look beautiful, that they really want to up-level the feeling of their home and they want to be able to invite people into their home and create this real atmosphere to it, then their problem is that they want to create this beautiful atmosphere and they want this artwork that's going to create that feeling. Whereas another audience might want the artwork more for themselves. They might want to create this beautiful environment in their home where they can just look at this picture and feel at ease, feel peace, feel inspired, and it's more something for themselves for internal reflection or bringing some joy to their life rather than it being about showing off and making this beautiful space to share with others. Or on the other hand, you could be selling art for businesses. So you could be selling your artwork to things like cafes or maybe a therapist's office and something like that. And so the need there is, again, something different. They're trying to create an atmosphere for their clients, for their customers. And so their problem is going to be different for the problem that the person in their home is looking for that art. And so if you can really tap into what your particular audience are looking for, what the problem that they have is that they want solved, and then you can think, well, how does my work, how does what I create help solve that problem? And then you can really weave that into your branding and your brand messaging so that it really attracts those right people, and so they really feel like this is what they're looking for, that this is going to help them in the way that they need help. It's also going to inspire you in various areas of your marketing and visuals and different elements. Because for example, if your artwork was about creating this space that feels very calming and relaxing, and someone would have it in their home in a space that they just want to feel calm and relaxed and at ease and can look at this beautiful artwork, then your whole branding is going to have that feeling to it. And so when somebody comes across your brand and it has that really calm, relaxing feeling to it, then they think, well, this is the kind of artwork I'm looking for. This is the feeling that I want to create. And so they're going to be attracted to your brand and they're going to want to check out what you have to offer. This is why it's so important to really get clear about the problem that your brand solves. You're not just creating products just for a transaction purpose, just to buy and sell and make some money. At the essence of it, you are solving a problem, and getting clear on that problem is really going to help your brand. Now, following on from this, the next point on our checklist is to make sure that your brand message is clear. Make sure that people are actually understanding what your brand is all about, what you have to offer, what problem you're solving for them, and how you actually help them. what this is all about. What is the message of your brand? Because if someone comes across your brand, they go to your website or find you on Instagram, and if it's unclear and they can't quite understand what it's all about, if it's for them, what you actually offer, what kind of brand is this? Does it align with my values or anything like that? They're going to easily fall away and just look at something else because it is not clear when they land on it if this is for them. It's so important to make your messaging clear so that you capture somebody and they instantly go, yes, this is something I'm interested in. Yes, this is for me. And then they want to know more. If it doesn't resonate with them or they feel like it's hard work to actually dig around and figure out what this is all about, then they're just going to give up and move on. I'm sure you've probably seen it before where you've come across someone's website or their social page and you just can't quite work out what it's all about, and you just end up giving up because you think, well, I'm not going to dig around and try and figure out what this all is about and what it means. It's just confusing and I'm just going to look at something else. So I'm sure you don't want your ideal audience to be stumbling across you and then just leaving just simply because they're confused. Make sure that message is clear. Now, the next one on the list is creating connection. You don't just want to feel like this cold transaction where it's just about them buying something, you getting money, and that's it. You want to create a deeper connection with your audience, and that's going to create loyalty and trust, and it's going to build community. They're going to feel more invested in your brand because of it. So it's so important to create that connection, to go deeper, to really get to know your audience, create things that really connect with them, really create some community around your brand, and not just make it simply this cold transaction. And relating to this, the next one on our list is attracting the right audience. So making sure that you're actually creating things that are attracting the right kind of people, that you're putting the right message across that's actually going to pull in the right sort of people that you want to attract. Little subtle things can make a difference. The way you position your brand, the kind of messaging you put out there, the way you speak to your audience, the way you look, making sure that that all connects with and attracts the people that you really want to attract. If you're putting out the wrong message, if you're making your brand positioning a little bit off and it doesn't, resonate with the right kind of people, if your values don't resonate with the right kind of people, if the work you're creating doesn't resonate with the right kind of people, anything that doesn't fit for them is then going to attract the wrong kind of people. So it's really important to review everything in your brand and think, well, does this actually attract and connect with the people that I want to be attracting? Does this look like something that they would want? Does this look like something that would resonate with them? Or have I just done this really fast just to get it out there and not really thought about the end person that it's for? If you want to be building your brand up and really attracting those right people, it's so important to consider them, get to know them, and make sure every element of your brand attracts them. Now, the next one on our list is consistency of style and tone. It's so important that every touch point in your branding is consistent, that everything aligns and is cohesive all together, because if something is slightly off in one area, it's going to throw people off, it's going to confuse people, it's not going to build a strong identity that's memorable and recognizable. It's going to create this really wishy-washy, messy, mixed up brand, and people are going to less trust it, people are going to less remember it, and it's just not going to help you build a strong brand. Now, an area I see a lot of people mess up with this is when it comes to video and audio, especially when it comes to things that are trending at the moment. So at the moment, that's things like TikToks and Reels. People are using all these trending sounds and doing these trending dances, but it might not actually align with their brand, and so it feels really off. It feels very inconsistent. And so it's really important to think about every single touch point and making sure that everything is consistent in that style and tone, that you're not one minute this calm, beautiful, peaceful brand, the next minute you're jumping around dancing to some dance music, because it's just going to throw people off. It's going to feel very misaligned, and they're not going to trust your brand as much because it feels really messy and all over the place, and they can't really connect with who you actually are, because if there's so many different facets to what's going on with the brand and it feels like there's all this different messages and different styles, it's like, well, who actually is this person? Who actually is this brand? And how can I trust them if I can't really get clear on who they actually are? So connected to that is having a brand that's cohesive, not chaotic and not confusing, making sure that everything goes well together, that it's really cohesive. Think about it a bit like a puzzle. All the pieces need to fit together. You don't want something that doesn't fit, that feels messy, that feels misaligned, that doesn't work. You have to make sure that everything is cohesive. So if you're feeling feeling like something in your branding is off, you might want to review every touch point, everything that you're creating, and have a look. Something that you're creating not cohesive with everything else. Is there some element that's confusing or messy? And then working on that and making sure you're bringing everything together and making it a really cohesive style and tone. And making sure it's all really cohesive to create this brand identity that comes together as a whole. And finally, you want to be sure that your brand stands out, is memorable and recognizable. You don't want a brand that looks like everyone else, that just follows the right now trends that everyone else is doing, that it just really blends in with what else you see in your industry. You really want to make sure that there's something about your brand that stands out, something about your brand that's memorable and recognizable. It could be something as simple as the colors you use. It doesn't have to be this completely outlandish, crazy thing to stand out. But it's about finding something that makes you this little bit different, just that small thing, and being really consistent with it to build that memorability and become recognizable. It's the funniest things that people can identify with your brand. Sometimes it's someone's hairstyle, sometimes it's the colors they use, sometimes it's the background that they have in their videos, sometimes it's a piece of audio that they use a lot. Find something that you can be really consistent with that's going to make you stand out, and have a look at what's currently going on in your industry. What is everyone else doing, and how can you do something that's just a little bit different that's going to make you that bit more memorable and recognizable and make your brand stand out. So if you feel like your brand is just blending in way too much, then this is an area that you might want to work on. Thinking about how you can make your brand a little bit more memorable. So I hope this helped you out and got you thinking about what areas of your branding you might need to improve or work on, what might not be working, what might be going wrong, so that you can really focus on those areas and you can create a stronger and more memorable brand. And if you'd like to learn more about branding, graphic design and creativity, then be sure to subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you next time.